We're at Aria's Poker Room about to play a high-stakes, uncapped 25-25-50 session. I buy in for $10,000 initially. This is the first time I played live poker in over a month. My last session, I lost $40,000 at Bellagio and 100-200 and decided to take a little break. Tonight, we begin at 6:12 p.m. with plans of getting some money back, but the lineup isn't particularly easy at the moment. We're dealt King-Queen offsuit in the big blind. Nosebleed crusher Alex, aka the English Bulldog, raises to 150 from the button. We can call or 3-bet with only one player to act after us. I call for 125 more. MJ Gonzalez is the straddler. He calls for 100 more and closes the action. We're going 3 ways to the flop. It comes King 5-3 with 2 clubs and a heart. We've got top pair, a good kicker, and likely the best hand. I check to give the opponents behind us an opportunity to bet. Then we'll go for the chicken to check raise. Under the gun checks. The Bulldog doesn't bite. He checks back. Now we can be nearly certain that the button doesn't currently have us beat. The turn is the 9 of hearts, putting a second flush draw on the board. I get sneaky and check once more to give the opponent some rope. Perhaps someone will take a stab if they think they don't have to worry that we're strong. After seeing 2 checks from us and a check back on the flop from the button, Under the Gun bets 350. He could be doing this with a wide range consisting of plenty of bluff combos. The button calls. If he had 2 pair or better, he might have raised. His call indicates he probably has a worse 1-pair hand or he's on a draw. It's time to spring the trap. I raised to 1300. Under the Gun immediately folds what was probably air. The button isn't as quick to let go. He calls our check raise for nearly 1,000 more. It's down to heads up. We'd like to see a blank. The river is the deuce of hearts. The backdoor flush gets there. The button could definitely have 2 hearts in his hand. In fact, it's somewhat probable. I check to see what our opponent wants to do. It looks like he's considering putting in a value bet. Ultimately, the button checks back. It's good news for us. I turn over our top pair. Bulldog doesn't have a flush. No. We still lose on the river though.
Oh, God, so fast.
Wow.
You played it great, man. Don't worry. You're a great player.
Thank you.
Oh, he's got it.
Brad, you need to delete that one.
You're a really, really good player. Don't let anybody tell you different.
I'm not off to the best start, but my buddy Ryan Tusick comes over from another table to show me that he's got pocket aces on gold in a 5-10-20 game. Ryan's a bracelet winner and WPT champion with over $5.5 million in live earnings. I'm hoping that he stacks his opponent. This was 4-bet pre-flop. Looks like Ryan's in good shape to take down a big pot. Sometimes live poker isn't always the most interesting, so it's nice to fire up another game on the side. Use my name, Brad, when joining for extra perks, including a ticket into the 100K free roll coming up on the 21st. There's 2,800 in the middle. I'm rooting for at least a call after Ryan bets half pot. Ryan's just hoping that he doesn't get jammed on.
Come on.
Don't do it, man.
All right, we'll take it.
We gotta pay.
Get the win.
Oh my God, he had ace king.
Wow. Oh, yeah, you paid. That's fine.
2 buttons, guys. 2 buttons.
Here's the ace queen that we just looked at after filming Ryan. Ryan paid to use the reveal hands feature, and he's annoyed that he wasn't able to get all the chips in pre-flop after seeing he was up against ace king, but he still won plenty. You heard my buddy Benton announce that he has 2 buttons. In this game, if you win 3 hands in a row, you receive $300 from each player at the table, so we can't allow Benton to win a 3rd hand. I raised to 150 from the hijack. The cutoff calls. Ben calls on the button, presumably with something pretty weak in order to try and get $300 from everyone. The straddler calls. We're going 4 ways to the flop. It comes ace king 4 with 2 spades. There's almost no chance that any of our opponents have ace king, aces, or kings. As long as we're not up against ace 4, king 4, pocket 4s, we should be best. Under the gun checks. We need to bet for protection against draws. I bet 425. We've got a big range advantage as the initial pre-flop raiser. The cutoff folds. The button is still incentivized to hang in there if he's got any sort of piece. It appears he at least has a little something. He calls to see 1 more card. The Under the Gun straddler calls as well. Maybe one opponent's on a draw while the other could have a worse 1-pair, but I doubt either of them have a speed at the moment. The turn is the 9 of diamonds. It should mostly be a blank since it doesn't connect too well with the flop. Under the gun checks. We have to be somewhat concerned an opponent drilled 2 pair, but they should be afraid that we bet on the flop into 3 other players. We need to continue denying equity. I go large. with over a pot-sized bet of 2,000. This has to be frustrating for the button, who I'm sure wanted to see a much smaller bet so that he could call, potentially improve, and win an additional 1,800 in bonus money. I price him out, he folds. Under the gun is considering whether or not to stick around. He ultimately folds as well. We get a significant chunk back after losing with King Queen a few minutes earlier. We also put an end to Benton's run. If he'd won a third hand, we would have had to pay him $300. Then for every hand after that he wins, the price gets progressively larger. So if Benton won a fourth hand in a row, everyone at the table would have to pay him an additional $400, then $500 for a fifth hand, and so on. We don't need to worry about that anymore, at least for right now. It's time for a PLO double board bomb pot. We've got 10-9, 6 deuce with 2 spades in middle position. 8 of us put in $100 each, and we go straight to 2 flops. The top one comes 6-5-3. We've got top pair and a weak gut shot straight draw. The second flop is 10-10-4 with 2 diamonds. We've got trips, but we don't have a strong kicker. It checks to the button. He narrows down the field with a bet of 300. There are a number of hands that have us in big trouble, but I call to see if we can smash some turns. The first turn is the 9 of spades. We pick up top 2 pair and a flush draw. The bottom turn is the Queen of hearts. We could now be drawing dead on that board if our opponent has Queen 10. I check. There's 1,400 in the pot. The button makes it slightly less, wagering 1,300. We have 2 medium strength hands in PLO. These are the types of situations that can get us into trouble. The opponent could have us crush with pocket 4s and a 7 or deuce, for instance. Still, we're probably good on at least one board, and there are plenty of rivers that'll give us a flush or boat. It's too early to abandon our hand. I call. The neighbor on our left sees that I was trying to get a $75 discount by accidentally using chips from a dirty stack. We get it sorted out though. The pot's getting large, and I'm not all that confident that we've got the winner on either board. The first river is the deuce of clubs, giving us 3 pair that doesn't help us out and actually makes things quite a bit worse, because now if the opponent has any 4 with a deuce through 7, he makes a straight. The bottom river is the Queen of spades, which is also bad, particularly because the Queen of diamonds isn't accounted for. The opponent could have had a diamond flush draw with a queen that now beats us. I check. There's a 6K cap post flop in the double board bomb pots. The opponent bets 4,000 to cap it. This isn't an ideal spot for us to be in. We're playing top 2 pair on one board with 4 to a straight, and then a very weak trips on the other. Sure, the opponent might just have some random holding with pocket 4s that only beats us on one board, but it's too much for us to risk in order to hopefully win one half of the pot when we could easily be getting scooped. I fold. We're stuck 2,000 at the moment. We're picking things up right where we left off in the last session at Bellagio, adding to the recent deficit. Next, we're dealt King 10 suited in the big blind. The hijack raises to 150. The cutoff button and small blind call. This is teed up for us to go for the squeeze. We've typically got a solid image. There's no way that the cutoff button or small blind are going to have anything too strong when they only flat the initial pre-flop raise. I bring out the big stick and I 3-bet to 1,000. The main player I'm worried about getting through is the hijack, since he opened initially. The hijack folds. Should be easy for us to get through the remaining players and scoop up several hundred. The cutoff has other ideas. He puts in the rare back 4-bet to 2,800. Maybe he has ace king, jacks, or 10s. He may have called the first raise at the top of his range, then recognizes that I had a good opportunity to 3-bet squeeze, and he's now punishing me for going the aggressive route, even though there's a decent chance he could be making a move as well. The button and small blind fold. I've been caught trying to steal KGB's Oreos, even though there's a sign on them that clearly say don't touch. As much as I'd like to stick around and maybe even rip it, I fold. I lose another $1,000 to be stuck 3,000 out of the gate. Here we pick up ace king offsuit on the button, 2 hands after our failed squeeze. I raise to 150. The small blind isn't going to let us get away with our obvious steal attempt. He 3-bets to 600. He's not going to like it when he finds out that we aren't actually trying to steal. We've only got 6,900 total. The 7th grader in me is having a hard time not drawing more attention to our stack size, but we have to move on. There are a few options available to us. We can call, or we can 3-bet to somewhere around 1,400. I go with the third option that's not listed on the menu. We rip it for 6,300 on top. There's no immediate call from the small blind, so he doesn't have us beat. We're flipping or we're ahead. He's thinking for quite a while though. He could have a medium to high pocket pair like 10s. I wouldn't mind getting folds out of those hands that are actually slight favorites against us. We're still only a half hour into the session and we're playing a ton of significant pots. The small blind folds, we get some chips back, but I prefer to play slightly deeper. When everyone at the table has me covered and I've got less than 200 times the straddle amount, I get somewhat antsy. I add on for 5,000 more so I can execute my normal strategy a bit more comfortably. We're in for 15,000 total. An hour in, we pick up ace-9 offsuit in the under the gun straddle. The button raises to 150. The big blind calls. He just won his third hand in a row and is now going for his fourth. I've already paid him $300. I don't want to have to give him 400 more. I call the 150. 3 of us are seeing the flop. The dealer puts out ace-queen-9 with 2 diamonds. We've got top and bottom pair, plus the potential to hit a backdoor flush. The big blind checks. I check to the initial pre-flop raiser who has the range advantage. He checks back. We surely have the best hand. The turn is the king of diamonds giving us the flush draw while we have removal to the ace-high flush. The big blind checks. A third Broadway card typically won't be good for my straddle defend range, so I check to give the button another opportunity to bluff at it. The button takes the bait and bets 300. The big blind calls. Again, the big blind is the player that we really don't want to let win. I raised to 1,500 with our mega combo draw and what I expect to be the best hand. This is the second time that we've put in the check raise on the turn. The button calls for 1,200 more. We're going to battle. There's a small chance that he has a baby flush or straight, but I'm feeling good about our 2 pair at the moment. The big blind folds. It would have been annoying to lose to him and have to pay out additional money. The river is the 10 of spades, putting 4 to the straight out there. Our hand is significantly downgraded. I slow down and check. The button may even check back a straight if he's worried about us having diamonds. If he bets, we would consider turning our hand into a bluff. The button elects not to put any more money into the pot. He checks back. It's good news for us. We turn over our 2 pair. It's the winner. The button says that he has a worse 2 pair with king queen. Our play on the turn works out perfectly. We pumped in extra money and even got the big blind to put in additional chips before letting go of what would have been the best hand.
I got this.
Did you? Nice.
Oh, there we go. We got rid of it.
Yeah.
With that win, the momentum is back on our side. We look down at king 8 of hearts on the button. Under the gun +2 is a newer player at the table who I know to be wild. He raises to 150. The opponent just won the previous hand. He's looking to win 2 more in a row because he aggressively goes after the bonus money. I call. The big blind recognizes that under the gun +2 could have been opening light, and I probably don't have anything very special. He 3-bets to 800. Under the gun +2 doesn't appear to be all that thrilled that he's been 3-bet. He doesn't back down though. He calls for 650 more. Our hand is pretty garbage, but I anticipate both opponents might be weaker than usual in a 3-bet pot. We've got a hand that's okay to see a flop with in position when we're closing the action. It's also good to get involved as much as possible in borderline situations in these higher stakes games so that we can continue to get invited back. I call to see a flop one time. It's already a big pot. The flop comes 8-5-3 rainbow. We've got top pair on a flop that'll be pretty good for our 3-bet call range. We can have sets, some overpairs, and top pair like we've got now. The big blind checks, seemingly waving the white flag. Under the gun +2 is going full steam ahead. He picks up the slack, betting 2,000. He could definitely have a set or overpair as well. I called a 3-bet with king 8 suited, and even though I don't like what's developing, how can I fold top pair and a backdoor flush draw at this juncture? The problem is, we could be drawing slim or near dead against under the gun +2 if he has a set. We also have the pre-flop 3-better behind us, who could have us dominated with a hand like aces. Plus, even if we make it to the turn, nearly every run out will be bad for us, with our top pair being susceptible to overcards coming out on the turn or river. I'm going to try not to get too ahead of myself. I'm just going to make the best decision I can in the moment. I call. The big blind folds immediately. I'm relieved to see that. Our call should look scary to the opponent, like we've got a set. We at least have removal to pocket 8s. The turn is the 5 of diamonds. It's a great card that makes it way less likely that under the gun +2 flopped a set like he was sort of representing. He doesn't let us relax at all though. He keeps charging with a bet of 5,000. Well damn, what could he have that we're beating? What could he even be bluffing with into 2 opponents on the flop in a 3-bet pot? Maybe ace-x suited and he picked up a diamond draw, but that's about all I can think of. Also, I only have 9,600 total in my stack. If I call, I'll leave myself with 4,600 behind. The pot will be nearly 4 times larger than that. I'd have to call an all-in, almost regardless of what comes out on the river. Do I really want to play for all of it though? We just got the best flop and turn that we could really get, and we're up against a known wild player who appears to be trying to push us around. A big part of me wishes that I folded pre-flop to make life simpler. I just can't get myself to let go of our hand against someone with our opponent's profile when he has extra incentive to force wins.
Come on.
All in.
About 8,500?
No, it's like 95.
Sorry, I didn't see
Like 95.
This is very unexpected. We jammed for 9,600 total. There's 21,000 in the pot. It's only 4,600 more for the opponent to call. He's getting about 4.5 to 1, but he's in the tank. If he had an overpair, his chips would almost definitely be in the middle by now. Instead, he looks like he's just been asked to solve a Rubik's Cube, blindfolded, with oven mitts on. And it's only a relatively small amount more for him to put in. I suppose that there's some chance that he's got us crushed, and he's contemplating making a hero fold if he puts me on 8s full, but I don't sense that's the case. It looks like he has absolutely nothing, but can't get away for the price that he's getting. At least that's what I'm hoping is the case. I prefer a fold because there's very little chance that the opponent doesn't at least have a handful of outs. After a minute and a half, the opponent calls. We're playing an all-in pot over $25,000, and I'm not sure if we're ahead and need to fade cards, or if we're behind and need to hit an 8 or king.
Okay. It's up to you. Let's go once. Let's go once.
This is a massive all-in, and we're running it one time for everything with king 8 suited. I'm sure the other pros at the table all think that I have 8s full. They're going to be pretty shocked when they find out our actual hand. The river is the 4 of spades. I'm relieved that it's not a diamond, but there's no guarantee it's a safe card in the off chance that we were in the lead. Ace deuce and 7-6 both make straights. The opponent doesn't seem particularly content though. I'm the one who jammed, so I show my cards first. Getting it in with king 8 is either going to make us look like a genius or a complete idiot. I'm holding my breath as we wait to find out. The opponent mucks his cards. We can breathe again knowing that we just doubled up in the largest pot of the night. It's tough to know what the opponent had. We don't beat a whole lot, but he could have had a worse 8 or combo draw with something like ace 4 of diamonds. Either way, it's a giant pot for us to win. It wasn't comfortable to call a 3-bet, hang in there after facing a large flop bet, then rip turn when we face another large bet, but our tenacity pays off this time. We're rewarded not only for seeing it through to the end, but also for adding on the 5,000 earlier in the session. Next we're dealt pocket 8s. I raised a 150 from under the gun +1. Under the gun +2, the small blind and big blind all call. We're going 4 ways to the flop. It comes 8-3 deuce with 2 diamonds. We've got top set. This is just 12 minutes after doubling up on a similar 8 high flop. The small blind and big blind check. This isn't the type of flop that'll typically be good for us as the early position pre-flop raiser, but since the flop is good for us in this case, I'm betting. I bet 400. Someone might be willing to test us with a check raise. We would pass that test, just like I'd pass Cornell's PE 1657 tree climbing course. Under the gun +2 folds. The small blind won in the previous hand. He wants to win a second one in a row. He calls. The big blind folds. It's down to heads up. I mostly don't want the flush draw to hit. I'm thinking of the most blank card that I can while repeatedly saying in my head, King of Hearts, King of Hearts. The dealer puts out the King of Hearts. There's no way that the small blind has pocket kings to take the lead against us. I'm not exactly sure what he has, but he's going to all of a sudden rep top pair or better as he leads for 800. The opponent only has 5,700 total. I'm going to raise, but I don't want to scare him off by making it too much when it's hard for him to have better than a draw. I raise to 2,000. If the small blind actually has 2 pair, he'll probably rip it. He may even jam as a semi-bluff right now with a diamond draw. The small blind isn't strong enough to get it in on this street, but he apparently has enough going for him to see one more card. He calls for 1,200 more, leaving himself with far less than a pot-sized bet. The river is the King of Spades, giving us a boat. If the opponent had a flush draw containing the King of Diamonds, he's going to be in a whole lot of trouble. He checks. The opponent's either going to have air, trips, or maybe something that he'd consider bluff catching us with. I put out a 5K flag to go all in for 3,700 effective in order to see if the opponent's willing to play for his remaining stack. He folds immediately. We're not able to stack the small blind, but we win a large amount of his chips as we add to our profit. We're currently up over 13,000 after being stuck a few thousand initially. Here we're dealt 8-6 suited in the under the gun straddle. Under the gun +1 raises to 150. The hijack, cutoff, button, and small blind all call. I call for 100 more as well. We're going 6 ways to the flop. It comes 8-6-3 rainbow. 8 high flops have been good to us lately. We've got top 2 pair. Small blind checks. I checked the initial pre-flop raiser. Even though that he has 5 opponents, he bets 475. There's not a ton for our opponents to have on this flop, and we've got it pretty well covered. The hijack calls anyway. Maybe he has a top pair hand or something like 10-9 for a gutter. The cutoff folds, the button calls, the small blind folds. We already have 3 opponents who put money in post-flop. I'm not sure what cards we need to fade to maintain the lead. As much as I'd like to slow play, I don't want to give that many players an opportunity to overtake us. I check raise to 3,000. If someone happens to have a set, we're about to lose a lot of money. Under the gun +1 has no choice but to give us credit for a monster. Sometimes it could be bluffing with a gutter and backdoor flush potential. Most of the time we'll have 2 pair or a set like we do now. Even if under the gun +1 has a monster pocket pair, he's going to be pretty uncomfortable calling our raise, knowing that he has to worry about 2 other players behind, potentially having him beat as well. We're playing really deep. Under the gun +1 makes life easier on himself and folds. The hijack folds. The button isn't strong enough to withstand the check raise. He folds as well. I show we actually had it. The opponent on our left lets me know that he folded the biggest pair known to man, pocket aces. If we were heads up, I could have flatted and put in the check raise on the turn, but I didn't want to let 3 opponents see the next card, or possibly the next 2 cards, for no more additional money while we're playing from out of position. We still win a sizable pot to increase our profit to $14,000 on the day. There's about $29,000 in front of us, with everything going pretty smoothly at the moment. In this one, we pick up Ace-7 suited under the gun +1. I raised to 150. 4 players call. We're going 5 ways to the flop. It comes Ace-7-4 with 2 diamonds. We flop top 2 pair one more time. Small blind, big blind, and under the gun all check. Even with a big hand like the one that we've got, we're still susceptible to being outdrawn. I bet 450 for value and to deny equity. The cutoff folds. The small blind has already won 2 hands in a row. He calls to try and get his third so he can collect 300 from each player at the table. The big blind and under the gun both fold. It's down to heads up. The turn is the deuce of diamonds completing the flush draw. 5-3 gets there as well. Small blind checks. I consider checking back. We can't always be afraid we're beat though. We also need to charge hands like Ace-10 with only 1 diamond. I bet 800. The small blind's the opponent who led 800 into us when we had a set of 8s. He needs to get some money back and go for win number 3. He calls to see the river. The dealer puts out the 9 of diamonds. There are now 4 diamonds on board, and we've got none. Our monster top 2 pair goes through Rick Moranis' shrink ray, and now it's the size of dust. The small blind checks. There's still a slight chance that we can win a showdown. I check back. The small blind reveals that he has 6-5 offsuit with the 6 of diamonds to not only get the victory in a large pot, but also win his 3rd hand in a row to collect $300 from me and everyone else at the table. This hand is dumb. It's after 11 p.m. when we pick up pocket 9s under the gun +1. I raise to 150. A few players have left, but my buddy Benton is in the cutoff. He's won 2 hands in a row and is looking to get some bonus black chips. He makes what's probably a loose call to see if he can connect with the flop. The button is the opponent who back 4-bet me earlier when I had King 10 suited. He understands that Benton likely doesn't have much. He 3-bets at 1200 to take down the pot pre-flop and deter Benton from winning a 3rd hand in a row. This is a large 3-bet sizing. My general sense is that our 9s are best. I know that the button knows the cutoff isn't going to have much, and he only needs to get through me. I don't want to call for over 1,000 more just to brick, then check fold. The button doesn't have a ton behind for us to set mine. I deviate from my normal cash game strategy with pocket 9s, and I 4-bet to 3,000. The cutoff has nothing as we suspected. He folds. The button doesn't have a whole lot either. He quickly folds as well. We win nearly 1,500 going with our spidey senses. Sometimes making a play like that can get us into trouble. It works out here though. That's the last interesting hand of the night. The table breaks after about 5.5 hours of playing. It's nice to be back in the win column, booking a 5-figure victory. I'll be honest, I was actually a little afraid of playing poker after getting smoked in the previous session and taking such a long break from the game, but it was what I needed. I'm glad that tonight went well, with it being my first time back in the saddle in over a month. I win $12,700, got to hang out with a lot of people I like. It's been a great day. That's it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like and subscribe buttons. Helps out the channel a ton. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to let me know in the comment section. I'm happy to get back to you. I am in Idaho right now. I am here for my cousin's wedding, but I'm likely going to be traveling a lot for poker. So if you guys have any places that you think would be cool for me to come out that you know allow filming, then let me know in the comment section. Also, I've got that 100K free roll coming up on Gold. More information in the description box below. But yeah, I'm just excited for playing a lot of poker the next couple months. Anyway, hope you're all doing well. Hope you're staying safe. Good luck at the tables. And I'll see you next time. Can you say bye, Henry? Say bye.